It's Football Friday here in the Saxton Podcast. Deuce, I'm so happy to say that. I've been waiting to say that for a couple weeks now.
Hotter than crap outside, it all of a sudden does not feel like football weather, but opening weekend of the NFL season, one of my favorite sport weekends of the year.
Tweeted out your pick yesterday, Rory McIlroy in the BMW for the FedEx. Any notes or anything you want to add on the BMW before we get into all the football talk?
Rory opened with 68 yesterday, so nice opening round. Just getting the second round underway. Your early mover for the diehard golf fans that care about the Ryder Cup, J.B. Holmes is now solo second. He is 7 under on his round. This course caters to those bombers, so if he wins, I'm not sure how he doesn't get a captain's pick at this point.
And Berger's in contention, but not so much for Rick Fowler.
Old P.I. Dick Fowler is one off of dead effing last in the field. Not sure what's going through his head. I don't know how you justify a pick for him or Bubba at this point. I'm sure one of them will be picked, but, man, they are making it hard for the Captain Davis love.
It will be interesting. I look forward to talking next week about the recap. But we'll jump into college football. Big hangover this weekend after last weekend's games.
Yeah, the slate this weekend is disappointing to say the least. I was trying to find a better word, but disappointing is the only way I can put it.
We have 0 top 25 matchups. The closest is the only one we could get a little bit in depth about, playing in Bristol Speedway. Tennessee, 11.5-point favorites against Virginia Tech. Your thoughts?
I love that they're going to play at the Speedway. It should be a great atmosphere. I'm shocked that this line is so high, and maybe I'm being held captive by last week and overreacting about Tennessee. This feels like a very high line to me, maybe a couple points off. I'm curious to see what you think, Tim.
Yeah, last week, it's hard to get what Tennessee did last week out. My biggest worry is if you took Tennessee, I don't know how they move the ball down the field.
Yeah, they had trouble controlling the line of scrimmage against App State. They really didn't move the ball. I'm assuming that Bud Foster's defense is going to be a pretty big step up, especially talent-wise. You know, if you're struggling against App State to control the line, I'm not sure how much better you're going to fare against Virginia Tech, so that would scare me as a Tennessee fan.
The line is a little higher than I thought it would be. Virginia Tech, if they got a lead early, they'll slow it down and play keep away, similar to how App State did.
I really like Virginia Tech, some of their skill players. I think their running game could present some issues for Tennessee. Maybe I'm just missing something here, but I like Virginia Tech plus 11 a lot.
I also lean Va-Tech. I don't love them, though. I worry that Tennessee was reading their press clippings, and what happened last week is exactly what needed to happen to them, and they come out on all cylinders. I do think that the atmosphere playing in the NASCAR, teams may get off to a slow start, trying to take it all in and get used to everything there.
Certainly I am not a NASCAR fan by any stretch, but if I remember right, the seats at this stadium are pretty far away from the track/fields, however they're going to do it. I think that could make the atmosphere a little bit different than what the kids are used to playing on. I also think Virginia Tech is going to travel really well for this game. I don't think it's that long of a drive from Blacksburg to this track, so I wouldn't be shocked to see the crowd not totally Tennessee fans.
Yeah, I like Va-Tech and would lean Va-Tech, but I don't love them.
Fair enough. Well, we both like Va-Tech, but not enough to be an official.
Tonight, Louisville minus 14.5 at our old moneymaker, Syracuse. Keep in mind, Louisville has Florida State next week.
Definitely a little bit of a looky-loo game with Florida State. I think there's a huge talent disparity in this game. Louisville has a ton more depth. They have a ton more talent at skill positions. I don't love that hook, though. The 14 in the hook, just not. I don't like betting with that hook, so that's a stay away from me. I would lean Louisville if you let me buy a point, but not taking that hook.
Yeah, I like Louisville as well, but not enough to make it an official either.
Yep.
Moving along, TCU -7 at home hosting Arkansas.
I want to like TCU. I liked Arkansas before the season started. They struggled week 1. I don't have a feel for this game. I know you've been on the TCU bandwagon, so I'm going to hand this game to you, and however you feel, I'll ride with you.
Yeah, I like TCU as well. I think that they'll play a lot better, especially defensively. You pretty much know what Bielema's going to want to do. Pound it down your throats. I think that plays right into Gary Patterson and TCU this week. And if Kenny Hill doesn't turn it over, I think TCU wins this by double digit, but I don't love it. To the Big House, Michigan, 35.5-point favorites against UCF.
I think this is one of those Scotty Majeikis specials where you bet the big favorite. I think Michigan, this is how they're going to start their season. They're going to pound on these inferior opponents, and then their real schedule will come when the weather turns colder. Yeah, I think UCF's going to be shocked by the physicality of Michigan, especially on the lines.
Completely agree with you. It would be Michigan or nothing for me.
Yep.
Oklahoma, coming off the loss to Houston, hosts UL Monroe with Ohio State lurking next week. Oklahoma, 46.5-point favorite.
46.5 is a lot of points, but teaser candidate for me, you have to think Bob Stoops is good enough to get his kids after a pretty horrific week 1 showing. They're going to pound on somebody similar to Michigan. I wouldn't want to be UL Monroe this week. There's a little part of me that thinks Bob Stoops is so overrated that maybe he just tanks in the season or something, but you got to think they're going to try to make a statement here, maybe hang 70 or 80 points up.
46.5 points is a lot of points. So this is probably a stay away for me. I have no idea how Oklahoma's going to respond. And Ohio State lurking next week. Probably think Stoops is going to rest some of his guys late in the game, especially if they're up by a lot. So this would be a stay away for me.
About that. That's a very good point.
To a team that you were high on in the Big 12, Oklahoma State hosting Central Michigan, OK State 21-point favorites.
I think that's a very good line. I don't love Oklahoma State defensively, so this is a prime backdoor spot, I think, for Central Mich. I think 21 is a good line.
Also agree, would lean OK State. I think they could put up a lot of points with the quarterback and Mike Gundy running the show down there.
Yep.
This is one of the games I do like in the top 25. Wisconsin, 24-point favorites hosting Akron.
I'm assuming you're on the Zips.
I am on the Zips.
I like your style there. It's a classic letdown spot.
Enough to make it an official.
Oh, boy. What's our line here?
24.
Yeah, why not? I'm not sure Wisconsin has the ability to blow many teams out, so let's do it. Let's get on the Zips.
0-2 last week with Carolina not being able to hold the lead. Should be 1-1, but we'll look to rebound this week. Zips plus 24. To the Horseshoe, Ohio State 28.5-point favorites hosting Tulsa. As mentioned earlier, Ohio State, Oklahoma next week.
Yeah, I would think. I thought about the same angle, but I think the 28.5 is low enough where that angle doesn't really do it for me. If it was maybe 35 or so, I'd think about it. But Ohio State, in the previous show, how much I love them, so I'm not going to go against them in this spot.
No, I can't either. Especially with Barrett, they should score a lot of points.
Yeah, this is one of those things where even if they only play a half, they 25 in the first half.
Clemson minus 36 at home hosting Troy.
I know nothing about Troy, so I can't make a pick in this game. Obviously, Clemson's going to win. They didn't play well week one. Another case where the big boy will let his frustration out on the little guy.
Texas home hosting UTEP. Texas minus 30 coming off the big Sunday night win against Notre Dame.
Same situation as you mentioned a couple picks ago. This is probably one of the better letdown spots if you want to take a dog, and you're getting 30. Texas looked pretty good, much better offensively, especially at the quarterback position than I thought they would. I am tempted by the 30 here.
The thing that worries me about it is Texas is so physical up front that I think that they're going to control the line of scrimmage. And with that 18-wheeler package, I still think that they're going to be able to score even if they have a hangover from last week. So
yeah.
I do think 30 is a lot. I would lean UTEP, but I don't love it.
No, I don't either.
The opponent from last week, Notre Dame at home, 28-point favorite, hosting Nevada. Notre Dame has Sparty next week.
I do not like Notre Dame here. I love that they finally named a quarterback instead of going back and forth. I think the look-ahead game here is in play as well. And Notre Dame traditionally isn't one of those teams that beat somebody 70-3, so no play here from me.
I lean Irish, but I don't love it with the sandwich game in between Sparty and Texas. I don't like the short week. I do like Kaiser being named the starter. I think that's bodes well for Notre Dame moving forward. But I don't love the Irish in this spot. Out west, Washington, 37.5-point favorites against Idaho. I have no feel or thought on this game.
Idaho is transitioning out of the FBS, I believe, after the season. They're traditionally pretty bad, and traditionally I think we bet against them a couple times, but I don't know if I'm ready to jump on Washington. I think we both said in the preview they're getting a lot of hype, but 37.5 is a ton for a team that has not proven to be really good yet.
Agree. To Autzen, Oregon minus 24 against Virginia.
I lean Oregon here, actually. I'm shocked at the low number here. I'm not sure why this is so low. Cross-country trip for Virginia. They looked awful week one. I don't get this line.
I don't either, which leaves me a little hesitant to pull the trigger on Oregon fully. But I do lean Oregon, as you said. Mendenhall had a terrible debut. I think that he doesn't have his players yet, but that's not very good to lose to the Spiders and coach.
That's a long trip out west. 10:30 start time on the East Coast. I don't know. I'm shocked that this line isn't 30. To be honest,
I think this is a game. This is a game that if you lose early, this is one you could chase it with.
Yes, I agree.
Baylor minus 32 hosting SMU. That game is in Baylor.
Yeah, they're going to put up a ton of points. If Baylor's probably a teaser candidate, but we're getting into the plus 30 lines where I'm not taking a favorite outright with that.
Iowa minus 15 at home against Iowa State.
Oh man, I was hoping that this was going to be under a 2-touchdown line. I like Iowa by 2 touchdowns. The 16 is sort of a no man's land line to me.
Yeah, this game always seems to be close. I agree with you. This has a backdoor written all over it.
Yeah, 2014, something like that. The 16 is just a weird number.
Last game in the top 25, Alabama, 28.5-point favorites against Western Kentucky at home. Ole Miss lurks for the Tide next week.
Coming off of USC where it really wasn't a game, game. I'm not sure how much energy and emotion was spent. I just saw that Lane Kiffin got a huge raise this morning. Sort of a letdown spot. The line, though, is fairly low for this type of game. If I had to lean, I'd actually lean the underdog with the Hilltoppers, but I don't have the guts to take that.
I like the Hilltoppers this week.
Do you?
I do. I think.
All right, well, then you might be able to talk me into it, because that's where I was leaning.
I don't have a major reason why. Just a sandwich game. Bama's got Ole Miss next week, who they lost to twice in a row. USC last week, emotional game. I do think it's a letdown spot for Bama.
I don't have any stats on this, but it feels like to me Bama doesn't cover a ton of these huge numbers at home.
I have it right in front of me.
Oh, there you go.
Last year they played Wisconsin in week 1. Came back as a 34.5 point favorite. Did not cover against Middle Tennessee State. In 2014, West Virginia, they played to open the year. Came back, were a 40-point favorite, and won 41-0 against Florida Atlantic. Covered it by 1. No softies in 2013. In 2012, they beat Michigan to open the year. Western Kentucky, second game, the Hilltoppers cover a 38-point spread.
I think we should go with the Hilltoppers then.
An official.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's get crazy.
Hilltoppers plus 28.5.
I like the half there.
Any other games you like that we haven't talked about?
Let me see. Just rolling the schedule real quick. I don't think so. If you can find the San Diego State without the hook line, I think they are going to try to make a statement against Cal. Cal coming off a game in Australia. They looked pretty bad, I thought, especially defensively. I would try to find a San Diego State line that's a touchdown or less, and I would like that.
I got 3 other dogs I'm looking at. I got Penn State plus 6. I don't know if they will win this game outright, but I think this is a 2017 type game. I like Washington State going to Boise as an 11-point underdog. They're coming off a loss to a D1 AA school. I think Mike Leach will have the boys ready. And then the other one I like way off the board, but a major fletch line. Duke hosting Wake. Duke's minus 5. I love Wake.
I have that written down, and then I have 5 question marks next to it.
Duke just lost their quarterback for the year.
He was really good, too. People were really high on him. So I think I'm with you with Wake.
Official.
If you think so, then I'm with you.
Officials for college this week. Akron plus 24, Western Kentucky plus 28.5, and the Demon Deacons plus 5.
I have one more like. It's not strong, but I like Texas Tech going at Arizona State. Arizona State should play fast with that desert heat, and I think Texas Tech has one of the better offenses that they'll see. I think they can hang up a ton of points. I like them as a small dog on the road there.
Texas Tech could score 75 this week, I think.
That's what I was thinking. I think Arizona State's going to be able to score too, but I think that Texas Tech is going to at least get to 45.
I think if you're a major degenerate, you take the over and crack a 6-pack late at night.
I like that. I like that decision better.
To the big boys. Give me your thoughts on what transpired last night in Denver.
Really good start to the season. Great opening game. I thought both defenses played really well. I thought it was very physical for a Week 1 game. I thought that Cam Newton got treated a little bit like Shaquille O'Neal did when he was in the NBA, just because he's big and tough. I thought that Denver was allowed to get away with a bunch of borderline hits. I kind of expected the game to go exactly like that. I liked I didn't like him enough to make it a pick, but I liked Denver as a home dog there. I thought Simeon looked okay. I thought C.J. Anderson looked great. I hope they continue to ride him all year long for fantasy football purposes. Pretty much what was expected. I don't take anything away or off of Carolina. I think they were probably the better team. Thought they should have won the game, but tough place to play, really good defense.
I agree completely. The lack of calls against Cam, the lucky timeout to ice the kicker. Carolina should have won that game last night. C.J. Anderson did look good. The narrative today is how gutsy Trevor Siemian is. If he loses that game, Elway and Kubiak are getting killed right now.
I'm not really sure why he's gutsy. I mean, he made a couple nice throws. He looked pretty accurate, but, I mean, he still threw 2 picks. It's not like the kid threw for 404 touchdowns. So, I mean, Carolina's got a good defense, so I didn't expect him to play that well. But I thought he just looked okay. He didn't do anything special.
Not only that, there's 31 defensive coordinators, or 30 other defensive coordinators around the league now that have tape on them.
Right, exactly. And, I would expect to see the boxes continue to be stacked against C.J. Anderson.
Agree. To the slated games for Sunday. We'll start in Atlanta, where they host our Tampa Bay Buccaneers, 2.5-point favorites. The Atlanta Falcons are.
Oh, man, I really am high on Tampa this year, but I think this is a weird spot for them. I don't like that the line is under a field goal. Atlanta's traditionally, under Matt Ryan, been a very good home team. I'm going to shock you here, and I actually lean Atlanta here.
I lean the other way, but I don't have strong reasons. I just think Jameis Winston will have success against that defense. Would not recommend a Tampa Bay play, though.
I don't like Atlanta enough to make it a play either. Just don't love the on-the-road spot. Traditionally, Atlanta's defense plays better at home. I worry about Doug Martin. If he doesn't get it going early, then Jameis might have to force a couple throws. I do think this is a low-scoring game.
To Tennessee, Vikings -2. Have they named the starter yet?
Sean Hill was they put out their depth chart, and Sean Hill was the number 1. I'm not sure what that means. I have not seen an official starter yet, so kind of up in the air. I'm not sure it really matters, though.
I agree. I don't think this line moves no matter who plays.
Basically, this is Adrian Peterson versus the two-headed monster of Murray and Henry. They're very similar teams. I would lean the under, if anything, in this one.
I like the Tennessee Titans this weekend. I
can get on board with that.
I think they win this game outright.
They have the better quarterback, right?
Absolutely.
When in doubt, I will say I do not like the coaching situation there. I'm not a big believer in malarkey, so that pulls me away a little bit. But when the teams are that even, whoever has the better quarterback usually wins.
The last 3 years, Tennessee has won the opening game.
Do we want to go all the way with this one?
Let's put it on the side and we can always come back.
All right.
To Philly, Carson Wentz starts against Bob Griffin. Eagles -3.5.
I like the Eagles. I hate the hook part of this, especially with a rookie quarterback, but I like the Eagles in this game. Not a ton of reasons. The one reason I like them is I think Fletcher Cox is going to have a huge day, and I think Robert Griffin's going to have a tough time doing much against the Eagles D-line, and I don't love the Browns offense, especially without Josh Gordon.
I lean the same way, but I don't recommend it. Who knows what the rookie quarterback's going to do. The
Right.
Eagles will be susceptible if Griffin can get some time to go deep to Pryor. I think they could beat them long, but that'll only happen 1 or 2 times. I would lean Eagles, but as you said, it's going to be because of their defense.
The hook here scares me away from making an official play.
Interesting game in the Meadowlands. Bengals 2.5-point road favorites at the Jets.
I'm struggling with this game. I really want to like Cincinnati. I like them almost in every phase over the Jets. This line feels low, though, to me. I don't hate the Jets here, but this is a stay away from me.
I have the exact same thoughts you do. This line is not pushing me in either direction either.
No.
New Orleans at home, 1.5-point favorites against our old wagon, the Raiders.
Another weird one for me. I'm high on the Raiders this year. Picked them to win the division. We were both down on the Saints, but opening weekend in that dome, that place will be crazy. The Raiders are still a young team. The Raiders do have their biggest weakness is their secondary, in my opinion. Obviously, the Saints' the best way they score is throwing the ball. I think Brandon Cooks could have a huge game here. This game comes down to me if Oakland can run the ball or not. If they can't establish a running game, I do not like them in this matchup at all. I think the Saints will, even though their defense is putrid, I think they'll be able to get pressure on Carr. I think it's going to be a close game, but I lean home team here.
I would also lean the Saints if I had to make a play, but the line is not pushing me in either direction in this game. I think your assessment was right on. Cook should have a big day. I think Carr's going to have some success through the air as well, but if they can't run the ball, the Saints will pin their ears back and Carr's going to get beat up.
Yeah, that's exactly why I don't like it.
To Arrowhead, Kansas City, 6.5-point favorites against the Chargers.
Philip Rivers has traditionally struggled at Arrowhead, especially last year. I don't know if Jabal Charles is going to play. It looks like if he does play, he's only going to get 10 to 15 snaps. That's a pretty big weapon for Kansas City to lose. I do like their replacement, Spencer Ware, comboed with Sharkhandrick West. Tough matchup in the passing game for Macklin. I think he'll be shadowed all day by Brett. I lean Kansas City, but I'm not 100% there, especially without Justin Houston getting after Phil Rivers. I'd be curious to see what you think here, since the Andrew Reeds are your team this year.
I don't know why. I look at every game on the board. I look at all the lines. This one just jumps out at me as the back door. I don't know why. I feel like Chiefs are going to control this game, win pretty handily, but the score is not going to reflect it.
I do think Philip Rivers throws a ton of garbage yards in garbage time. I do think the Chargers are built for the back door with Rivers and Danny Woodhead, who's a backdoor specialist when he's just getting dump-offs in the fourth quarter down by 10. So I can't disagree with you.
Ravens at home, -3 against the Bills.
Oh, I hate myself, but I like Baltimore. I think the Bills are really beat up defensively. I hate the hire of Rob Ryan. I think Baltimore's going to be able to move the ball. I think the Bills are going to be able to score. I think actually this is going to be a higher scoring game, which you wouldn't think with these teams. I kind of like Tyrod Taylor to make some things happen against his old team. But in the end, Baltimore's home field, they're usually really good at home. They're only laying the field goal. I'll lean Baltimore here.
I also like the Baltimore Ravens.
Yeah.
I hate myself for it as well.
I'm actually bordering on the official play.
I'm with you.
At least put it to the side and we'll come back.
Alrighty. Moving along to Jacksonville, where the pools in the stands should be filled as Aaron Rodgers comes to town. Packers 4.5-point road favorites.
No man's land line here.
Yeah.
I assume that it's gone down. And I like the home dog here. I'm not sure I'm ready to take the full step on the Jags this year, but I like them in this spot. It's going to be really hot. I have nothing to back this up, but it just feels like one of those games where the Packers' offense is a little bit stagnant. They might have trouble running the ball with Lacey. It's just one of those games where I think it's going to be kind of weird. A couple 3-and-outs and they start to press. I also like the balance of the Jags' offense, especially with the addition of Ivory against what I think is a weak Packers defense. I'm leaning home team.
I also lean that way. I think that they're going to be able to pressure Rodgers. And I think I think Green Bay, if healthy, is going to be one of those teams that gets better as the year goes on. I agree completely with your assessment that this could be one of those games where it takes a little while for Rodgers to click with Nelson again.
Yep.
And they have a couple 3-and-outs early. I think Green Bay wins this game by a field goal.
Exactly my thought. I was just about to say I think Green Bay wins 24-21, 27-24, something like that.
The thing that scares me is Bortles' arm. To make this an official.
I like it. I'm not sure where it's going to rank in my likes, but this is put her to the side for me.
I've put it to the side.
All right.
To the Pac Northwest, Seahawks -10 against the Dolphins.
So now it looks like Christian Michael is going to be the starting running back this week. Thomas Rawls will get worked in, but apparently he's not 100% ready to take on the load. Michael led the preseason in rushing, so might not be a bad thing that he's playing. I don't like this spot for Miami. They can't push the ball downfield, which is how I think you beat Seattle. I think it plays right into the Seahawks' hands. Obviously, that place is going to be banana town. I lean 10's a lot. I lean Seahawks, but I'm not willing to make it a play going double digits.
I hate the double-digit line. Tannehill's never been a great quarterback, and now he's got to learn a new system. First game of the new system, he's got to go to Seattle. Terrible spot for him. I like Seattle. I just wish it was 9.5.
Exactly my thoughts as well.
This
we
game,
always buy a half point here.
This game to me is a coin flip game if I've ever seen one. At Jerry Jones World, they're -1 against the Giants.
No idea. There's no point even talking about this game because either team could win by 25, and I wouldn't be shocked.
Yeah, no, anything could happen. I agree. Yeah, it will be interesting to watch, though, for how much of a coin flip it is. See Prescott go against Giants blitzing defense, and then see Eli in McAdoo's system for year 2.
The Giants' offense should have success. Dallas' defense stinks. I'm really curious to see what Dallas comes out with offensively. Do they just give the keys to Dak and play to his strengths? Maybe throw a couple option reads right off the bat at the Giants, soften it up a little bit? Or do they just hand the ball off 3 straight plays to Zeke? I would assume they're going to get creative with it. But I actually am excited to watch this game.
I wouldn't be shocked if the final was 6-3 or 66-63.
Exactly. Right, exactly.
To Indianapolis, 3.5-point home favorites hosting the Detroit Lions.
I hate both of these teams this year, and I hate that hook even more. If it was 3, I would really like the Colts. I'm down on Detroit this year a little more than I'm down on Indy. I think both of the teams are mirror images of each other. Obviously, Luck is probably a bit better at Stafford than Stafford at this point. Neither team can run the ball. Neither defense is very good. The Colts are better at home. That's why I give the edge to Indy here, but I hate that hook.
I lean Lions. I was hoping you went that way. The difference in this game to me is the Colts secondary. Vontae Davis is out, correct?
Correct.
And the Lions have Jim Bob Cooter calling the offensive plays. I actually think that Stafford is going to have a decent year through the air, sans Calvin Johnson. I think.
So you like Golden Tate in this game, I'm assuming.
I do.
The one Lion I do like in this game is Theo Riddick, the third down pass catching back. I think he's going to give Indy a bunch of problems.
I hate Colts offensive line. I think it's one of the worst in the league. And Detroit does still have a decent defensive line to put some pressure on them.
Fair enough. I can't argue with you. I just don't like either of these teams.
Oh, I would never trust either one.
Yeah, okay. Good.
Sunday night, and what could have been a great one, 6.5 point favorite. The Arizona Cardinals hosting the Brady-less Pats.
This is a weird one to me. I thought with Garoppolo, I know he's looked okay. I don't think he's looked great in the preseason. I really did think this line was going to push north of a touchdown, 7.5 or 8 land, and it kind of stayed where it was, which worries me. I want to back the Cardinals. Something's telling me that this could be a funny one. I don't know how the Patriots are going to score enough points, though, to stay in this game. I think Arizona can get to 24 points. I'm not sure New England can get to 20, so I don't have a play here, but I would lean Arizona.
I think this is one you wait Sunday night, see what the line is. If it gets to a touchdown, I like New England. If not, I stay away.
Yeah.
I'm very excited to watch Bruce Arians' offense against Belichick's defense. I think that's going to be fantastic. And obviously the curiosity to see what Jimmy Garoppolo is.
With Ninkovich out the first 4 games, he's a pretty good pass rusher. He's one of their better pass rushers. The one way to beat Arizona is to beat Carson Palmer up. He folds like a tent. I just don't know if New England can get that much pressure on him.
That's a good point. I would agree that the Patriots are probably going to have to blitz, which then puts their corners on an island with John Brown and Michael Floyd.
Yeah, I like David Johnson out of the backfield here, too. He might not have success running the ball, but I think he gets 4 or 5 balls for 40 or 50 yards that can do some damage.
I don't see any way the New Patriots win this game. It's just whether Arizona covers or not.
Yeah, exactly.
Monday night, Hearts, home dogs hosting the Steelers. Line is 3.
See, this is the one. All the games that I want to like, I can't get the hook in my favor. If it was 3.5, sign me up for the home team. They were pretty good at home last year. The worry I have is that they have not beaten good teams. They beat up on lesser talented teams. Pittsburgh, obviously, a much better team. I stay away with the 3. I'm very curious to see the revamped secondary because with Antonio Brown, they're going to have their hands full. But with no one opposite of Antonio Brown, you got to think they're going to let Norman go one-on-one and then have help over the top to take something away. The only other guy really is D'Angelo Williams. So I don't know about Pittsburgh in this one. I think it's actually a weird matchup for Pittsburgh.
I love one of my favorite plays of the week, the Washington Hearts. You like that? I think Kirk Cousins is going to go...
Everything is telling me to like them. I like the matchups on offense, especially Jordan Reed. No idea who's going to cover him unless they knock him out of the game early. And I like the matchups on the other side of the ball, but, man, it's hard to bet on your own team.
I can understand that. But I think Kirk Cousins is going to have a monster game. Monster game. One of the best passing weekends of any quarterback.
Ever?
No, just week 1.
I mean, if you feel good enough, I'm with you. Everything is there. It's hard for me to pull the trigger on the Hearts.
I gotcha. I think we'll go away from your team then, but I do love the Hearts.
Well, we'll make it an official play. We'll just put an asterisk next to it anytime this year we bet on the Hearts of the Eagles.
We won't be betting on the Birds much.
I think they're going to be live dog after week 10.
To the worst game in NFL history, Monday night at 10:30. If you stay up for this, you're the ultimate degenerate. Rams, 2.5-point favorites at the Niners.
Thank God this is after the Hearts game, because I'd probably fall asleep if the Hearts was the late game. The quarterback play in this game is going to be atrocious. I wouldn't be shocked to see more balls being thrown off a guy's offensive lineman's helmets than are actually caught. San Francisco's defense is still okay against the run, so I think Todd Gurley, even though he's going to get the ball 45 times probably, he might struggle. There's a good article on The Ringer if you want to read about Chip Kelly and his offense, a really in-depth article. I think it was posted today or yesterday. It's a good read. How his offense is not built for the NFL because of the speed of the game, being slower than college, actually. I think Chip struggled. I think he's back in college by year 2.5 in San Francisco. I think this game might end 3-2.
The only thing I can say about it is I've watched Hard Knocks, and I can't understand how Jeff Fisher continues to get jobs and continues to get extensions. He is the definition of 8-8.
I know.
It's unbelievable how uninspiring he is.
I like Ty Gurley looks awesome on that show.
He does.
He's so good. Feel bad for him. He's going to be in a Barry Sanders, Adrian Peterson situation for his whole career. I like Goff's tools. Obviously, he's not going to play, but when I watched Hard Knocks and saw Chris Wicke was his freaking quarterback coach, I have little hope for his development. The Rams have the better defense, so if you force me to pick a team here, I'd pick the Rams, but I don't feel great about it.
I agree completely. Don't bet on this game, please.
What's the over-under on this game? It can't be more than like 36.
Let me see if I can get that up quick.
I mean, it's got to be so low. Blaine Gabbert, have they named the starter? Is he the starter?
He is the starter.
Okay. Blaine Gabbert, back from the dead.
He was a first-round pick.
That's true. Good point.
Oh,
not long ago either.
Over-under 43.
What?
43.
Really?
Open 45 and a half.
I mean, does that seem weird to you?
I guess if you have to make a pick, you got to go under.
Maybe Vegas thinks that there's just going to be a lot of pick sixes in this game for kickoff returns.
I would go under.
Like the under. I like the under there, especially on a late Monday night game.
So the three I put to the side were Titans +2, Ravens -3, Jags +4.5. Any of them you disagree with or don't feel as strong about?
I like all three. In my opinion, we should go with the Titans and the Ravens as our two official plays. And if you like betting, we like the Jags. How about that?
I agree with that assessment. So officials this week, Titans +2, Ravens -3. On the college side, Akron +24, Western Kentucky +28.5, and Wake Forest +5.
We're really getting ratty on the college side with those picks.
A lot of dogs. Great job by you today, bud.
Tip of the cap to the host, as always.
Talk to you soon.
All right, buddy. Enjoy.
See ya.